Hey, English 12 students, I wanted to quickly talk about whatever um, theme with you guys. There's a couple of reasons for that. I'll get to those in a second. But so if you were in the lab this past week and you had the pleasure to be pulled into the conference room or whatever by me, we did talk about this a couple of times. And none of this should be brand new. It really should truly be review. But if it's not, you know what, that's fine. Let's get there, okay? So just pay attention and ask questions, take notes, do whatever you need to do, right? Obviously, you can't ask questions right now, but you know what I mean. Um, so when I think about theme, I usually use like Three Little Pigs as an example. Wait a minute, again, I said I was going to tell you why, right? So one reason you need to learn about theme is just because, I mean, dude, it's important, right? It's one of those things where it's like, every story that we read, every movie that we watch, every TV show that we watch or sit through, right? All of those things, all of those pieces, um, all of those different things have a theme to them, right? There's a sort of an underlying idea or moral or lesson that all people or most people can relate to, right? And that's why we relate to a lot of these things, is because there's sort of an underlying like human emotion or human reality that that people can kind of identify with. And a lot of times that's exactly what we're talking about when we talk about theme. So back to Three Little Pigs. We all know the story, right? Three pigs. The first one does his house out of the straw, and because he's an idiot. Next pig's a little bit less dumb, uses sticks. Next pig is the smart patient guy, uses bricks. And so the moral of the story, the theme of the story in that case is that you should be a thoughtful and patient person. You should put care and time into things. You should put effort into things. Or bad things will happen to you. The reason I say that is because the first two pigs are killed by the wolf, and the third pig kills the wolf and eats it. Right, depending on the story that you're familiar with. Right, the Disney version, no one dies. The original version, like everybody dies. Right, that's how it usually goes. So anyway. We've got this sort of lesson that we learn, right? But notice how I took out all of the details about pigs, about houses, right? And when I said the theme of the story, I said the theme of the story is that you should, or that people should, plan ahead, should be patient, should be thoughtful. I did not say pigs should be thoughtful when they build their houses, because I'm not a pig, you're not a pig. We don't care about pigs in that sense, right? And sort of in order to make that an actual theme statement, in order to connect that back to that idea of, something that we can all as people sort of identify with, or most people could identify with, I have to take out those specific details, right, and make it applicable in different situations. In this case, if I say the theme of the story is you should be thoughtful and patient or bad things will happen to you, I can apply that to situations in life, in school, in work, in relationships, all over the place, right? So that's what we're talking about when we do talk about theme. So if I'm talking about, a bigger story, or, something longer or more sophisticated text, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm using the details, right? It just gets a little bit more complex. So one thing that I notice many students doing when you are writing about theme, when I ask you, especially in like quizzes and things, if I don't explicitly ask you to write long about theme, you guys write like a word. I'll say identify, possible themes in this text, and students will list war, love, peace, hatred, whatever the case may be, right? But when we talk about theme, that's just the beginning, right? What you're doing there when you list those single words is essentially you're listing a topic, right? That's only a theme in the sense that Ninja Turtles would be the theme of my birthday party if I had Ninja Turtle decorations and a Ninja Turtle cake, right? And so in this case, that's not telling us much about theme. And so if you say the theme of a story or a poem or something is love, well, what about love? You need to say why. Why is that the theme? What about love? Is there some kind of statement that love is hard, that love is worth it, that love, whatever. You can't just say love though, right? That's just a starting point. Beyond that, just make sure again that you are tying it back to the text, right? The theme of the Three Little Pigs is that you should be patient and thoughtful and take care in the things that you do, or bad things might happen, is evident in the fact that the first two pigs are killed by the wolf. The third pig, who does take his time and is patient and all that kind of noise, he survives. And it's because of his perseverance or his patience, or his ability to think ahead and build a house that would last, right? Um, and so I refer back to those details and I explain this is how I know or why I say that's the theme. And so you guys will need to make sure that you're doing that as well. But again, it's a little bit more complicated maybe when you're not talking about pigs anymore. We're bigger subjects, but y'all can handle it. And theme is cool, man. It's one of the cool things that we can talk about. I think it's way more interesting than talking about a lot of surface level stuff. Um, because again, it's those ideas that are sort of deep, that we can kind of get into and make connections to and all that kind of stuff. So keep at it.